So today we are reviewing trigonometry, which shouldn't be too bad since we just finished that unit. We started off trigonometry with Sohcahtoa. So Sohcahtoa occurs with a right-angled triangle right here. So what you do is you mark your reference angle and you label the side that you know. That's the opposite side. And the side you're trying to figure out, that's the hypotenuse side. So according to Sohcahtoa, the formula that uses opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. And you substitute in. So sine 33 is equal to 19 over A. Then what you do is cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, that's over 1. So it's A times sine 33 equals 19 times 1. And to get A by itself, divide both sides by sine 33. And making sure your calculator in degrees mode, that is equal to 34.9. Remember to round side lengths to 1 decimal place and angles to the nearest whole number. And the units in this case are centimeters. So that's how you solve for a side using Sohcahtoa. To solve for an angle, starts off the same way. Mark your reference angle. Label the two sides you know. So that side is the hypotenuse. This side here is the adjacent. So the formula that uses adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So cos theta is the adjacent, which is 11, over the hypotenuse, which is 17. In this case, in order to solve for theta, you take the cos inverse of both sides. And again, using your calculator, your answer is 40 degrees, rounded to the nearest whole number. So that's Sohcahtoa solving for sides and angles. Alright, now we get into the sine and the cosine law. So this one here is solved using the sine law. And you use sine law, if you remember, if you have side-side angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle. Those are the three cases you use sine. So basically, we can make our two loops. And we have 3 of the 4 pieces of information. So that's going to be sine theta over 3 equals sine 39 over 4.8. Again, cross multiply. And that's 4.8 times sine theta equals 3 times sine 39. Now, a lot of people divide by 4.8 sine to get theta by itself, but what you have to do is get sine theta by itself. So you're going to divide both sides by 4.8 only. Then to get the angle, you do sine inverse of this. And in your calculator, you'll get an answer of 23 degrees. Alright, in this example here, we have the cosine law. Cosine law is used if you have all three sides, or side angle side, which means two sides with the angle in between. When you have all three sides, you're going to be solving for an angle. And the side that you want to keep in mind is the side that's opposite the angle, because that is the only side that is negative. So cos theta is 7 squared plus 18 squared minus 13 squared. So that's the only one that's negative. Over 2 times 7 times 18. And using your calculator, you're going to work out the numerator and the denominator. And you will get 204 over 252. And once again, when you're solving for an angle, you take cos inverse of both sides. So that's the cos inverse of 204 over 252. And in your calculator, you will get 36 degrees. Alright, so that's the sine law and the cosine law solving for angles. So now we're going to do sine law and cosine law solving for sides, but we're going to do it in a word problem format. So, as a satellite orbits around Earth, so up here in the sky is the satellite, it is sited between the cities of Sudbury and Toronto. Well, since we have two S's, let's make the satellite X instead. So here's our triangle. Oops. It's not a beautiful triangle, but let's pretend it is. So the angle of elevation from Sudbury is 41.7 degrees, and from Toronto is 74.1 degrees. Sudbury and Toronto are 398 kilometers apart. And we're going to determine how far the satellite is from each city. So this is opposite angle T, so that's side T. This is opposite angle S, so that is side S. And of course, when you know two angles in the triangle, you can figure out the third angle by subtracting those from 180. And that is equal to 64.2. So, in order to solve for angle side S, there's your two circles you're going to use. So we have sine 64.2 over 398 equals sine 41.7 over side S. Cross multiply. So that's S times sine 64.2 equals 398 times sine 41.7. And then to get S by itself, divide both sides by sine 64.2. And that will give you 294 kilometers. Alright, so what I want you to do is to take a moment, and I'd like you to solve for t. So now you're going to use this set with this set right here. So pause the video, solve for side t, and then come back to the video to check your answer. So pause the video now, please. Okay, welcome back to the video. Hopefully you got 425 as your answer. If not, you can try it again or ask your teacher in class the next day. And the last question here is, a field hockey player is 6.1 meters from one goal post and 5.8 meters from the other. So here's where the goal post is. Oh, well, there's where the net is anyway. So he is 6.1 meters from one goal post and 5.8 meters from the other. There's where the hockey player is. And the angle she must shoot the ball to get it in the goal is 36 degrees. So that angle there is 36 degrees. How wide is the goal? So that's opposite angle H, so we're going to call that side H. And because it's side angle side, we're going to be using the cosine law. So that is H squared equals 6.1 squared plus 5.8 squared minus 2 times 6.1 times 5.8 times the cosine of the opposite angle. In your calculator, this part gives you 13.60, and when you take the square root, you get a final answer of 3.7 meters. So that's trigonometry for you, sides and angles of Sohcahtoa, sine law, and cosine law. If there's anything you didn't understand, please make a note of it and ask your teacher during the next day. Hope you enjoyed reviewing trig. Bye-bye.